All right, it should be live. We should be live and doing things right now. So welcome everybody to this week's episode of the weekly BrYangle Report. A lot of stuff to talk about today. I hope I can get through it all. I want our viewers to know that this is an open Q&A. I want everybody to feel comfortable asking questions during this conversation, and please feel free to let me know how everything is going. Thanks, Juan, for the confirmation. For everybody who's watching today, don't forget we have Juan watching in the background. If you have questions and I don't get to them right away because I'm busy doing other things, then Juan will see that and he'll draw my attention to it as well. All right, let's just quickly wait for some people to join up, and then I'll start off a little bit. Please feel free to say hi. Let me know you're watching. Great to say hi and have a conversation with some of you folks. And keep in mind, at some point, I'm going to open this up to the Q&A, and I'm hoping that there will be some questions saved up that we can get into. Today's topic is going to be pretty in-depth. There's a lot of different angles that I've rolled into the conversation, so I'm pretty stoked for it. All right, well, we've got some viewers, so let's start this off. First of all, I should tell you, my name is Brian Weiss. This is the weekly BrYangle Report, talking about photography in all different ways in about a half an hour. So hopefully it won't keep you for too long. I'm an employee here at Henry's in Newmarket, Ontario. This is where I'm holding this show from. If you want to come in and watch these things live, you can be a part of our studio audience, so to speak, ask questions face-to-face in person, or you can view on Facebook. It's a lot easier for a lot of people to view it that way, but also keep in mind, the question and answer period is super important. At least to me, I want to make sure that you're being heard and that this is a community thing and we're really listening to what you have to say. Keep in mind, this show is live, so if there's noises in the background, that's because our employees are helping customers as they are right now. I am helping you. That's my job right now. This show this week is all about support. Now, support is all kinds of different things these days. In the retail world, it means a lot. It means service or advice during the purchasing process and long afterwards. That's something people don't realize, that when you buy a camera, sometimes you need support after the fact. The tools that you need are here. The cameras, these are things that you need support for as well, whether it's a tripod or a hand strap or other things. So the support conversation is going to be the theme of the day, and it's going to be pretty involved and a lot of fun. I got on a bit of a tangent writing the script for the show today, last night, and I was up to like 3 o'clock just typing out all these ideas that I had. So hopefully I'm not going to go too far, and it'll be fun and easy for everybody to follow along. Now, before I get into that, let's just see what people are saying. Hey, Mims is watching. Hello, Jerry, Felix, and Juan, of course, is here. Really looking forward to this chat. And guys, please chat anytime. If you have an idea, or even if you have a new suggestion for a future show idea, I'd love to hear what you have to say. I'm always looking for new ideas for this show. We have a Did You Know? We have what's new and used in the industry, and we have our meat and potatoes, so to speak. My wife hates it when I say that, so from now on, I'm not going to call it that. From now on, I'm going to call it the core conversation of our show. So the core conversation is something we're going to get into in a little minute. All right, let's get into the Did You Know? By the way, Did You Know stands for Digital Know-How, or, hey, did you know? So the Digital Know-How is a segment that's supposed to be offered as a small little tidbit of information, something you may or may not have known about, but something I can get into within a pretty quick conversation. Today's Did You Know is don't be scared of your ISO. If you're into photography and you're shooting a lot of low light and your ISO is being cranked and you're from the old school film world where you want to keep your ISO as low as you can possibly keep it at all times, digital is changing a lot of that kind of thing for you now. When we shoot, I just think of the story first. What's the priority of the photo? So is it sharpness? Is it depth? Is it exposure, brighter or darker? What am I looking for in this image? I choose my sharpness with my shutter speed. I choose my depth with my aperture. I don't even care about ISO anymore. And I've got some examples that I want to show you of images that I've shot at high ISO in the past. And they're pretty noisy, and I'm definitely going to surprise you with some of the things you can do with technology these days. But my point of this Did You Know is just to remind folks that you can crank it up. You can raise your ISO to standards that you never thought you'd use before. I generally shoot between 10,000 and 20,000 ISO with most of the wrestling I shoot these days. And if you look at the photos, there is some softness because of the processing, the noise removal. But all in all, they're extremely good images, and you can do a lot with what you didn't think you can do before. Here is the first example of an image shot at 10,000 ISO in a very low light situation. And now I need 1,000th of a second shutter speed when I shoot wrestling, and sometimes I just have to crank that ISO really, really high. As you can see, okay, not frozen. Okay, good. Sorry, Mike, I'm glad it's not frozen. You never know with these things. Oh, Doug, hey, how you doing, Doug? Thanks for watching. Okay, so as you see on the screen right now, it is a photo showing digital noise. That noise is something that's unavoidable. You're going to get it, even with expensive cameras. This was actually shot with a Nikon Z9. So yes, there's noise, go figure. However, when you start to use the software that's available to us these days, you can get rid of the noise, clean up that noise and make it look less grainy and less obvious that you have super high ISO. So this image that you see right now is that edited photo. This is the one that's just been denoised. It has noise removal, and I added a little bit of my special sauce to it to give a bit of a vignette or whatever. But then the actual photo that I edit and I share can be completely different. You can do a crop, you can do whatever you want to do, you can bring it in, and you can still make a clean, non-noisy looking image. And that's even at ridiculously high ISOs that, as I mentioned, this photo here was at 10,000 ISO already. So don't be afraid of your ISO. Don't be afraid of creating a little bit of noise. With Photoshop and Lightroom and a lot of other noise removal tools like Topaz Denoise, you can get rid of those things. So have fun out there, shoot in low light, use that ISO, crank it up if you have to, and you can always remove the noise later. That's my digi-know. I'm thinking noise. My whole family's here today. My mother-in-law, my mother, my brother, Steve. It's very cool. Thanks for watching, guys. It's the only time I see these folks, and I'm not even seeing them. They're seeing me. So that's a little awkward. Anyway, all right, so let's get into what's new and used of the week. Okay, so during this segment, I usually talk about either product or interesting things that are new in the industry or used in the industry, or just a used product that we have here in the store to sell. This week, it's a big announcement, actually two big announcements that I have for the what's new. The first big announcement is Steve is back. Now, I don't know if you guys know who Steve Walsh is, but this guy has been a mainstay in our company for about 5 or 6 years now. Unfortunately, since November, he's been off with back surgery, recovering from back surgery. So as of yesterday, Steve is back in the store. I'm excited about it. All of my coworkers are excited about it because Steve is just a great guy. His demeanor, his ability. He's our third full-timer. Like, he's the guy that we really rely on. So very excited. And if you know Steve, you know why we're happy about it, because Steve's such a great guy. Since he's been off recovering, you know, the vibe in here changes. It's still great because we have an experienced crew that's worked together forever. But Steve just adds so much. So for our customers who know Steve, he's back. You can come in and say hi. If you don't know Steve, you should come in. And to give you an idea of what his experience level is, Steve has been with Rogers for 20 plus years before he started working with us. He was the producer on Rogers Cable 10 in Newmarket and Richmond Hill and all over the place. He's still an active producer of events and video events and so on. He's got documentary movies that he's produced. He has movies that he's produced that are currently showing on Amazon Prime. So just a wealth of knowledge and just an amazing guy. So I'm very excited that Steve is back. And that is one of what's new for the week. The other thing has actually just been confirmed today. It's not public. It's not announced yet. You guys are knowing about this the very first time of anybody. And this is a big thing. So June 9th, the rodeo is back. And in the past, we have done really cool events that I call Luck Favors the Prepared at the rodeo. We do a little workshop here in the store. We head over to the rodeo. We make images like this right here beside me. This was one of the images made at the rodeo, the same rodeo we're going to. So I'm very excited. We have permission from Norm Betts, who is their head photographer, and from Ross, the guy who runs the entire rodeo, the Dodge Ram Rodeo series, that we're going to be getting in the chutes in the background. We're going to be right at the cage, right at the ring, at the cage side. great access. In fact, we're going to be in early, so we're going to get into not talk to, but you know, you can pet the bulls if you want to. So this is going to be a great event, and that is so exciting for us here. So that's June 9th. We're going to be running from 10:30 until they're done at 5 o'clock. It's going to be a big event. It's going to be free from Henry's. All you have to do is pay for your admission into the rodeo, and let us know about it, of course. You have to register with us, newmarket@henrys.com. Let us know you're interested, and we'll put you on the list. Can't wait. It's going to be a full workshop on 1 hour class, and then hands-on shooting rodeo for the rest of the day. And if the weather's great, it's going to be amazing. Can't wait. All right, let's see. We've got some chats here. Let's see if people are saying stuff. Mike, Zed mirrorless are better as super high ISO than DSLR. If I were to use the 10,000 ISO on my D7200, it would be crap. It would be crap, Mike. You're absolutely right. In fact, my D7100 is not the camera I use for these things. It's the computer power, it's the sensor technology, it's the combination of those things and the noise removal tools in the software. I did actually. There's going to be a photo that I'm going to have. It might even pop up here at one point. It's a hawk that I shot on Ravenshoe Road, and that was excessively high ISO. I think it was like 20,000 ISO with this camera, and somewhere around there, 25,600, I think it was. And with the noise removal, it actually turned into a pretty decent photo. So you can still do a lot, Mike, with the software, probably more than you think. And it could save a lot of the photos that you weren't able to shoot before. So I hear where you're coming from with the noise created from the APS-C sensors and a little older generation camera with different noise removal, but you can do a lot with it still. And I would definitely suggest you give that a shot. Whether you download Topaz or if you already have Lightroom, use the noise removal tool in Lightroom. It's AI, it's pretty incredible. Yay, Steve is back. I can't wait. I mean, I've worked with him one day so far since he's been back, and I can't wait to work with him more days. Guy's just great. Okay, so what is used in the business? I've talked about what's new, but what's used, today I'm going to talk about reflectors. And it kind of goes with that whole support theme. A reflector is basically a disc that has reflective properties, whether it's white or it's silver or gold. I'm trashing my little nook here. Gold. These are also multicolored, so you can shoot through. So if I have a light and you want to diffuse that light, you can shoot it through here, and it makes it a softer light coming through than just the harsh light of this. Or you can use the soft gold, or you can use gray or black. Some of them will have black, so you can soak up the light and so on. But the reason I'm talking about a reflector right now is there are so many times where I'm shooting a wrestling event and I have all my studio strobes set up. I get home and I'm looking at my pictures and I just wish I had a little bit more light kind of popped up from here. Now, in this situation, I have a little light popped up in here. So technically I don't really need the reflector, but if I used it, I can still just bounce light up under my chin by the light coming from a different angle. I can aim a light at it and direct it indirectly at something and get a softer light. It's one of those things that you should always have in your kit. It doesn't have to be this massive. This is a 40-inch. You can go for a 20-inch, a 30-inch, a 40-inch, or a 50-inch, all different sizes. And you can even use what they call a VAL, a VAL, which is your voice-activated light stand. In other words, you have a friend hold it and direct it in the direction. You don't have to use a VAL. But you could also get a stand support system. There's a reflector arm that clamps onto it here and here, and you mount that to a stand and you can direct it and it'll hold it and support it where you need it to go. So having a reflector is a solid asset to anybody who is a photographer or videographer or anything where you need light to direct in your position. All right, guys, let's get to the core conversation. And first, I'm going to see if there's any comments. The sound and photo keep freezing and skipping. Mom, that actually may be your internet speed. Hopefully that's not the same for everybody. If that's happening for anybody else, please let me know. It could be our internet speed here at the store. This is live video. Hopefully you'll get the gist of what I'm saying and it won't be so frustrating for you. But thanks for letting me know, Mom. I love that my family watched this. It's very cool. Okay, guys, the core conversation today is support. Now, support comes in many different ways, especially in retail. As I normally do, the first thing I like to do when I'm studying or doing a workshop or a presentation is study the actual origin of the word. I'm a word guy. I love where words come from. On my Expressions podcast, it's called Expressions because we love to talk and hear different things. And every show I give an origin of a word. So it's kind of my habit now to look and dig into that a little bit differently. So the word support is actually made up of old Latin words and so on. There's several different definitions. In fact, I counted 40 different definitions of the word and where it comes from. I'm going to read off just a couple of them. First off, as a verb, be actively interested in and concerned for the success of. That's support. Bear all or part of the weight of, or hold up. I'm going to talk about supports in that way today. Give assistance to, especially financially, enable to function or act. Give assistance to, that's important. That's a support. That's giving support from your family or your friends that are financially helping you in some way. Suggest the truth of or corroborate. We're supporting your decision. It's all support. Endure or tolerate. I have to do a lot of that with some people. I have to endure and tolerate. Anyway, there's the noun version of support. Could be a thing that bears the weight of or keeps it upright, like a tripod. I'm using a tripod on the camera I'm using right here. Material assistance. It could be a source of comfort or encouragement is support. And of course, secondary act or a pop rock or concert is the supporting act. Has nothing to do with what I'm talking about, but it was one of the definitions I found. Anyway, while I'm talking, guys, I'd love for our viewers to start thinking about how a store can support a customer. You as a consumer who are buying everything on Amazon and online and all these different places now, have you noticed a difference between online support versus in-store support? That's one thing I'd like you to think about. And also start to think about, why is a store actually important anymore for purchasing a camera or any equipment? So those are two things I want you to kind of think about as I'm talking here. And if you have any points on it, please put it in the chat. I'd love to hear your opinions on those things. Now, during my time here, I've heard and seen so many situations. My store manager, Aurora, is sitting over here, and there's one that I always think of whenever I think of the support we can give, and that's my friend Mike, who had a very expensive lens, an 8-16 fisheye lens. And one of the first times he went out shooting, he had bought our warranty, he had bought the lens, he fell, and the lens got so damaged it literally broke in half. Now, this isn't something that we encourage. The point is, it's our plan. We have some ability to help our people. In fact, I have to talk to Aurora about another customer who called earlier today, who might be watching this podcast right now and is probably going to say, what about my camera? What about, because she's having an issue, and we're going to see if we can help with her. But because our warranty and our service is such that we want to help our customers, Mike had his lens replaced. They bought a new warranty on the new lens, and he's sold on our service as far as that goes. So some of the things I've seen have blown my mind with what we're able to do. And then, of course, there's those situations where we're just not able to. It's up to the manufacturer to make the decision. But having the support of a store to go to bat for you and to, field these issues for you, I think is a real asset as far as support. Now, to understand why I think this is so important, I want to remind you guys of Henry's core values. This is a bit of a stretch here, guys, so bear with me here for a minute, okay? I've worked here 18 years. The core values of Henry's directly align with my own. What my father taught me when he was a traveling salesman. I'm very proud of our core values. So I'm just going to go over this. We have 4 core values. We have, we won't be beat, expert advice, we have the best gear, and you matter to us. Now, the word support and the definitions that I read to you earlier, check this out. We won't be beat. Give assistance to, especially financially, enable us to function or act. We're giving support by having flexi financing, by having price match guarantees, by having all these other things to help you with the financial side of things. Expert advice, suggest the truth of or corroborate. We are supporting your purchases as you come in to make purchases from us. It doesn't matter if it's, a small picture frame or a tripod or a camera. We have experience in those ways to help you through those things. The best gear. You know what? We are Canada's greatest camera store. We try and have the best gear at all times, and right now we have some pretty good gear in stock. But we have 20 locations, and it's hard to keep all that gear in every location when the economy is the world that it is. So work with us. Keep that support going to you. If we don't have it in stock, we'll get it for you. Keep asking us when it's coming in. We'll be able to give you those answers. So that's all part of support. And the last one, you matter to us. Be actively interested in and concerned for the success of. Another definition of the word support. What that tells me is Henry's core values are all about supporting our customer. And I think that's really important to talk about, because in our world, support means more than just buying a tripod and camera system, support system. In the day of Amazon and marketplaces online, I'm hearing so many stories about people getting either the wrong product, no product at all, like a brick in the box, memory cards that have no chip inside, a number of different things. And the only reason people are buying in that way, well, there's two that I would think are. First would be price. They don't buy from the same supplier we do. We buy from Canon Canada. They buy from, I don't know where, I can't speak for where, but not Canon Canada. That's how we don't price match to them. If they don't buy from the same Canadian source that we do, they don't have to adhere to minimum advertised price laws in Canada, which we have to. So that's why our price match guarantee is so strong, that if you find a price out there that's cheaper from an authorized store, we'll match it and beat it by 10% of the difference. Another benefit to the we won't be beat and the give assistance to financially definition of support. But it's really easy to just click on a button these days and buy a camera. Do you know if it's the right camera for you? Do you know if it's the right tool for the job? Do you even know how to do the job that you're buying the camera for? These are all things that we all do. We all help people through, and we give that support for. So whether it's Henry's Newmarket or Henry's in Burlington or Henry's in Ottawa or Henry's anywhere across the country from Vancouver to Halifax, you have staff who have that level of interest and managers in that store who have an even higher level of interest to give our customers that support. Don't forget about that, and don't discount how important that could be to people. As I say, I've been with Henry's for a very long time. I've worked with multiple coworkers, and I've had multiple managers. And the one constant I can say is that our core beliefs have stayed consistent from the day I've started working here. And our culture, at least in Newmarket, has stayed the same. And what I mean by that is we all want to help. That's the culture of the store. So that is my little bit about talking about our way of supporting you. Now, what I want to get into is other types of supports. Before I do that, I want to just check my chat here and see if anybody has any questions. Okay, Doug and Pauline are saying that the sound isn't skipping or popping. So I think, Mom, that would be your internet speed, possibly. And no other questions as far as support and how awesome Henry's is. So I'm just going to keep on moving on. Okay, so ways of carrying your camera. This is support for your gear now. One, a tripod. I think people don't really understand how to use them, or they don't want to be burdened with carrying them all the time. So there are neat little tricks and ways that you can use a tripod to make that easier. For example, everybody that I've seen who buys a camera bag these days, or not everybody, but a large chunk of them are going to ask me, does it carry a tripod? You have that little foot that goes down, and you put your tripod and you strap it across the back. My answer to that is every camera has that. If they have a shoulder strap, you can literally just take a leg segment, collapse it up a little bit, and slide it down your camera strap. And it'll sit right there on your hip, and you won't even know you're carrying it. So for all those people that have a hard time carrying a tripod when they're on a hike or something, this is the best way to do it. You literally just close it down so it's compacted, and take that one leg and slide it down your camera strap, and it'll just go along your trip with you. So that's one way you can take your support with you. Also, keep in mind, every tripod is different. They're not all equal. There's some that are made better, and there's some that are made to be price point. For example, we have this, by the way, Henry's has a brand called Cameron, and Cameron is a Henry's branded product. So I'm going to talk about a couple of the Cameron tripods. The T100, it's just, a little bit thinner. It doesn't have quite the weight requirements of some of the other tripods. And it's literally made just as a price point option for people that don't want to spend more than they really can afford. So they do make tripods like that. And I do have a lot of customers coming in asking for $20 or $30 tripods. We don't have those, guys. We're trying to sell you a tripod, not just a new camera when yours falls over and breaks. Come to think of it, actually, before I go any farther, Maureen is here. Maureen is who I was talking to you about with her camera repair. So maybe, okay, cool. Well, I was just talking about you. I manifested you. That's it. That's cool. I'm glad you're here. Good to see you. Okay, going back to the tripods. This guy here, another way that I like to talk about tripods is having multifunction capability. So you have the ability to take this leg off right here, take the head off, put the head on the leg, and now you have a monopod. So some tripods become multifunction where you can use them for a lot of different things. And using a monopod when you're walking around with a big heavy lens is something that I always recommend. It makes things much easier. And I'm just going to set this down because I'm going to look like a fool trying to screw that on right now and futzing with it. So no futzing. Stay. Good. All right. Monopod, huge asset. GorillaPod is another thing. They're these little guys. You can wrap them around tree branches. You can put them on a little stand. You can put them on a table or a rock. They have little bendable legs, which are really cool. You can carry them like a little monopod here or wrap them around a tree branch as I showed you. So these are really handy. The 3K kit, there's a 1K, a 3K, and a 5K. The 3K is strong enough to hold most smaller mirrorless or SLR cameras. Yeah, will it hold one of those cameras? It will definitely hold one of those. They make 1K as well, and those are more for point and shoot cameras or cell phones. But this guy here, you can really support quite a few cameras with it. Maybe not big cameras and definitely not those long telephoto lenses, but maybe the 5K is more appropriate for that. I don't know if anybody knows who Peter McKinnon is, but he used to ride on a skateboard with his 1DX Mark III camera on a GorillaPod. And that's how he would run around the skateboard. So it can handle the weight of very heavy gear if you buy the 5K. It all comes down to which one you choose. So another really great way to support your gear in a compact size. Put that back. One thing I love, my favorite accessory for supporting my gear is my cotton carrier hand strap and holster. Henry's used to carry cotton carrier. I know we still have access to it in some way. I haven't seen it in our stores. I'm a bit disappointed in that. But I'm still going to talk about it because I think it's phenomenal equipment, and my whole point in life is giving you good advice. So as an option, the hand strap makes it really easy for me to shoot, dip in and out of the way. As you know, I shoot wrestling, and I've been in certain situations where I've had a wrestler literally on my chest and my back on the ring post, and I had to dip out of the way before another wrestler started beating him up. And so having a hand strap on there gives me that ability to confidently know I can move without my camera falling out of my hand. And also the hip holster in tandem, put that on your hip, and now I can walk around with my wife at the CNE or on Main Street on Canada Day and not have to carry anything. And basically it doesn't even feel like I have a camera until I need it, and then I can shoot and put it back when I'm done. So this is also a product that we do carry called Peak Design, where you can get the Peak Design hand strap, which is in many ways better quality than the cotton carrier. It's probably going to last you a lot longer. More materials are more rigid and so on. And they also work with the Peak Design capture clip with the little bracket that they give you. So this becomes a modular system too. A capture clip is similar to the holster that I have, but you can put it on camera bag straps, and you can put it on different things, or your belt buckle, or they have a pro pad to put it on so it doesn't tear your belt. But the clutch is a really great hand strap from Peak Design. And of course, they have all of their straps that are options for people to support your cameras, like the slide, really handy camera strap, and then the slide light is just a lighter version, smaller, thinner version. The leash, again, smaller for smaller cameras, point and shoots. And then they have a little cuff, which is a wrist strap. So lots of different ways to support your gear. And it's all important. So I've also seen leather straps that people are making, and dual camera straps that people can walk around with, which gives you a lot of freedom. If you're using two cameras, you can have one on one side, one on the other. I have had some situations where I've had a two-camera setup. Most recently was the Northern Crown shooting I did. I had two, a Z9 and a Z8. I was kind of crazy that day. And I had one on my holster and one in my hand, and I would have to take it off and put it back and then take it off. And I have a photo of me actually on the, there's a new poster for this event that Henry's just made for us today that I put out. And I have a photo of myself taken by a friend of mine, Russell in Shadows, who I had one camera in my hand here and I had another camera here, and crazy stuff. I love it. 3 hands? Yeah, imagine if we were octopus, wouldn't need an assistant. That'd be great. All right, guys, I want to hear from you now. I want to hear, have you tried different holster systems? Which holsters and which tripods have you tried? I want to hear, have you benefited from the service that Henry's has to offer? I'd love to hear some of those stories. Maureen, I'm a little worried about what you'd have to say right now, but it's you know, gear is very touchy, very I've had stupid things go wrong with camera gears, and I've had cameras be, you know, dropped and be fine. It's hard to say what's going to make what happen. And I think the plus is that you're dealing with a place that has the intention of doing their best, right? That's the goal. Is you don't want to deal with a place that's not going to hear you or listen to your needs. And I mean, there's certain things we can fix and certain things we can't. Hopefully this will be one we can, but we'll do what we can. How many tripods have you owned?
I had 2. It's funny. Stephanie Hall broke mine at
a day tripper event.
And it was really, really, really cold, and there was only a core few like real troopers that came out of it.
Yeah, that was the Fire on Ice workshop.
I went to the bathroom and I came back and I said, "Watch my stuff," and she broke my tripod.
Then she replaced it?
No, I came in and replaced it. It wasn't a very expensive.
No.
Tripod.
See, that's the thing. My opinion on tripods is every inexpensive tripod you buy adds to the cost of the last tripod you own.
So,
right?
So then I came in here and I actually I waited for them to go on sale, and I spent a decent amount of money.
Manfrotto? The Manfrotto one?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. That's my go-to. To be fair, the Manfrotto 190 tripod with the ball head, I love that thing. It's so well made. It's a little heavy, but it's definitely worth the money.
And also a monopod. I have the monopod. He now has a monopod.
Very good. Good to see it. Good to see it. I heard so much about you. Yeah, you don't want to know the true stuff. Anyway, so let's check out the chat. Let's see if anybody has any comments. Let's see here. Oh, there are comments. Woohoo! All right. So Debbie says, that can go on the wish list. Yes, exactly. Juan says, I love these accessories. I know, the accessories are what make the experience so fun. Jerry says he has the Cotton Carrier hip product. He loves it. And my mother says Mother's Day is approaching. That is correct, Mom. The little guilt trip being sent my way there. The belt holster is definitely my next investment, Felix says. I love the capture clip from Peak Design. That's what I was talking about before. When you have the Peak Design product, the capture clip is a little clip piece that you can strap onto your belt buckle or something, and the little bracket that these come with just click right into it. So if you have a Peak Design camera bag, you can strap it right here on your shoulder. Camera just clips right to it. Very cool product. And the belt holster. I can't tell, like, I used to wear this at work all the time. When we had these in stock and we were selling these regularly, these were like $80 and this is $25. Now I think they're $35. When we had these in stock, I would just walk around the store wearing my camera all day. And people are like, what's that? I would sell one. So very cool product. All right, guys, since there are not a lot of other questions, I'm going to move on to the photo challenge theme because we're just about out of time. It's already 5:32, so I'm going to move quickly into the photo challenge theme. And remember, guys, the photo challenge is a monthly challenge. We're asking folks to make new photos for this challenge. We don't want you to pull pictures out of your database and say, hey, this applies to the theme. We want you to make new photos. We want you to be creative and try and think outside the box a little bit and have some fun over the next few months, whatever we're doing these things for, and make some good photos. Send those photos to us at newmarket@henrys.com. Maybe also, if you know me personally, send me a message, say, hey, Bri, I sent you a photo, because it seems like last month I missed quite a few people's pictures. I felt pretty shitty about that. Pardon my English. I felt bad about that, ladies and gentlemen. So please, yeah, I want to make sure we talk about each photo. And then in the first show of the new month, we're going to review your photos and see how they relate to the theme and see what people think of them. So the photo challenge theme for this month is Mad World. It's a mad world. Mad world. No, nothing. Tears for Fears moment. Okay. So I really hope we get some cool photos for this challenge. I'm having a great time doing these things, and I want to remind folks that are watching, I try and be as careful as I can with how I say things, and I want to represent the company as well as I can, but I'm just a guy working in a camera store, trying to help out my people. So if you hear anything that you don't quite agree with, let us know. I'd love to hear it. I'm not one of those guys that says something, and if you have a different opinion, I'm like, no, 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 no. I want to hear it. I want to talk about it. I want to learn from you as much as you might learn from me. And that's the only way we can do that. This is a community endeavor, and we really want to make sure that that communication is going both ways. If you have new ideas for shows, please let us know. Again, newmarket@henrys.com. You can email me inside personally at brian.weiss@henrys.com. That's bryan.weiss@henrys.com. And I'll get that myself. And if also you want to check out my podcast, Expressions Podcast, with my store manager, Aurora, myself, and 2 other friends, Mark and Sean. We have a lot of fun talking about things that are interesting to us and creative. We are in our 4th season right now. We have 3 seasons with lots of different guests that we've talked about who have taken their creative passions and turned them into their full-time lifestyle. And now we're just talking about things that we love talking about. So check out Expressions, the podcast on Spotify and YouTube and any place you can watch a podcast. Check out all the things that Henry's has to offer, and please let us know what you think of this show. Thank you all so much for watching. Check back to see if there's any comments before I say goodnight. No new comments, so that's it. I think we're good to go. Thanks, Maureen. Thanks for watching. All right, guys. We'll see you all very soon. See you next week. Take care.